is Maddie Ablitz. Welcome to the Home Care OT. As I said, my name is Maddie. I am the owner and occupational therapist of Threshold Therapeutic. Welcome to our OT practice segment where we talk about a day in the life of an OT in home care. One of the questions that I am most frequently asked, either by my clients, fellow OTs, and other staff is, Maddie, what's in your car stash? What a fantastic question, because I'm going to be 100% honest. I am not 100% sure of what is in my own home care stash in the car. What I carry in my car varies by the week. There could be wheelchairs, walkers, shower chairs in here, exercise equipment, leisure supplies, any amount. There are a few things that are standard that are in my car at all times, but as you can see by the state of my back of my car, it is a mess. It has been a while since I have gone through, sorted through it. There are probably things buried in the back of there that I haven't used in a few months. I just got a brand new car organizer. I'm excited to load it up. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to see what types of things I might keep in my car stash. We'll get it unloaded. I'll show you what's in there and we'll resort it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera up close so that you can see what I have in there right now, and then we'll reorganize it and get it ready for the next week. Here we go. Okay, so no apologies. This is my work vehicle as well as my very cool mom van, so it is a mess. This is the state of my car stash right now, which is why it desperately needs organized. My organizer right now is kind of bent up and broken, so I'm anxious to replace it. But what I currently have in here right now is my Chiro gun. I do use this frequently for neuro re-education, for stroke patients, for manual muscle work, for manual therapy, for pain, for tone management. I do keep a balance pad in here. In here, I do have a heat gun that I use for clients when I need to make modifications on a hand splint to improve the fit. I do have a Nerf baseball bat in here. I had a client recently with dementia who loved baseball, and so I was able to get him engaged playing some baseball in the hallways with a softball to get working on his arms and his motor coordination. This is always in the car. This is my PPE kit that I keep locked and sterile. Inside here, I have gowns, I have barriers to put my supplies, I have shoe covers, I have extra masks of all different types. I do have goggles if I need them, and extra bags to put any supplies that I don't want exposed to anything else kept there in my car. Also, this week I have a foot bike in my car. It's not in there all the time, but when I have clients who need it, it's helpful to have. I also do have a dowel rod. This is a 4-foot, about 3/4 inch dowel rod from the hardware store that I've sanded down. I actually use this for strength training. Sometimes I'll wrap some ankle weights around it to turn it into a barbell, and can use that for resistive exercise. Before we go through this, I am going to bring this inside because it is about 96 degrees out here right now, and then we'll dig through my sorter and see what things are hiding in there. Here we go. Okay, so now I have my car sorter in the house. Let's go through and see what's in there. I promise I did not go through this ahead of time. I actually have no idea what half the things in here are, but let's find out. The first thing I have is a container of different strengths of Theraputty. This I use for my clients with fine motor weakness, weakness in their hands. Maybe they had a wrist fracture or a stroke, working on those fine motor skills. So I generally do keep a good supply of putty. Once I use it with a client, it's theirs to keep that I give them with a home exercise program, and it looks like I should restock right about now. So Theraputty. This is a foam squishy ball. You would be surprised the number of things that you can do with the ball. This I was using with the Nerf bat for my client who liked baseball, because it's something that we could bat around in the hallway of the memory care facility and not damage anything. I can also use these for trunk twists, various coordination, reach and grasp throwing, those sorts of things. So squishy foam ball. This is a Geo board. I'll bring it in so you can see. This looks like it's meant for peds, for children. Actually it is. And my practice works solely with adults and seniors, but I do find that in most cases, some of these more pediatric based activities work really nicely with my adults. I just explain ahead of time, hey, this is a kid's activity, but we're gonna have fun today. And the reason why I'm doing this is these rubber bands, making the designs around the pegs, are really going to help with strengthening your hands and your fingers to meet that goal of you know, being able to open containers better while you're cooking, or get the top off the toothpaste, those sorts of things for grooming. So GeoBoard, I've actually found this very helpful for fine motor. This is a variety pack of foam grips of different widths. This is helpful for building up the handles on toothbrushes, pens, pencils, razors, those sorts of things. I've also been able to cut through the center and use them for padding for things, like sharp edges on wheelchair brakes, those sorts of things, multiple uses for these grips to use my clients. In here, these are, waiting to visit her again to deliver, these are custom armrest covers that I made for someone who is in a power tilt and recline chair. She doesn't like her wheelchair, her medical equipment looking like medical equipment. So and hot pink is her color. So we've made custom headrest covers. The armrests on her wheelchair were pretty abrupt and thin, and it was cutting into her arm when she leaned against them. So I actually used some of those foam grips to make a bumper to add some padding. She didn't like the way it looked, so I just got done making these custom covers to go over and tie underneath the armrest of her wheelchair to put them on there, so that she can look cute in her tilt and space wheelchair. So that's what these are. This is my TheraBand stash, different sizes and strengths of TheraBand to use for strength training and home exercise programming. These are pretty standard to stay in my bag. I have a variety of weights. This is why this box is so heavy. I've got a 4 and a 5 pound weight. I honestly don't use these that often, but on my caseload right now, I have a workman's comp client who is 21. That is way on the young age range of who I typically see. Most of my clients are in their 80s or 90s, but heavier weights for that client. Here's the 3 pound weight that is in that bin and actually buried somewhere in here. This red bag, it's kind of like a mini go bag of if I need to carry more than 1 or 2 things into someone's house that won't fit in my backpack, I grab this. So in my go bag actually are the 2 pound weight and the 1 pound weight that complete the set as well, that I carry frequently. Also in this go bag is a TheraBar. It's basically a stretchy resistance device that's really helpful for working on strengthening of the wrists and forearms. You can bend and twist a couple of different ways, helps with grip strength, wrist strength for wrist fractures, hand fractures, building stability in the wrist for people who really push into their walker. So I have 2 different strengths of TheraBars that I keep in my work stash. Also in this go bag right now, oh, I didn't realize that's where these were. I do have ankle weights. This is a 2 pound pair. I also, in my bag, have a 4 pound pair of ankle weights. These I will put on ankles. I can put them on arms. That wooden dowel that you saw in my cart earlier, I will also wrap these around that wooden dowel because I can turn it into a bench press bar, so that we can do weighted dowel exercises using these as well. Also in the go bag is a collection of bean bags. There are a million uses for bean bags. I use them mostly for core stability, for reaching, tossing, throwing, dynamic reach when we're standing, practicing bending down to pick things up off the floor, either with hands or with a reacher. But I do keep a stash of bean bags in here as well for any type of therapeutic activity. Oh, this keeps getting bigger. I happen to have a stash of colored pencils and a sharpener and some erasers, different widths of markers and pens. Recent stroke patient really focused on her ability to write and draw and sketch. That was a hobby of hers. Also in this bag are some tiny manipulatives. They almost look like mini bingo chips. I think I was using those in some putty to reach, pull out, twist, turn, those sorts of things for fine motor control. Random squishy ball. I think this was also used for my baseball activity a while ago. Here's some TheraPutty that made its way to the bottom that needs to go in that container. This container here is just random medical supplies. There's extra hand sanitizer in there in case I run out on the road, different types of medical tape. There's some Coban in there. Sometimes that Coban I use for non-medical supplies, for color contrast on someone's wheelchair brake if they can't see it. But in case I have a need for that, all of those supplies are in here. This bag makes me laugh. So in this bag is a giant variety of Velcro and adhesives. This is industrial strength, big chunks of Velcro. I have sticky Velcro dots in here. There are, I remember what I used this for. This is a piece of string attached to refrigerator clip magnets. I had engineered something. I had a lady whose dryer door, it was a stackable unit. Every time it opened, the door would close itself and hit her in the head. And she had a metal box on the other side. So we were practicing, you know, if I could clip these onto the door and the box behind it, if it would keep it open while she was loading her dryer so that it wouldn't hit her in the head. This intervention did not work, but another one, we ended up finding a different solution. Actually using Velcro dots, I put a Velcro dot on the other side of the dryer door, and when she opened it, it connected to the Velcro dot on the wall, held it open, and then with a light tug, she was able to get that and stop getting hit in the head by the door of her dryer. Velcro dots I use for a ton of different reasons. They're always helpful to have in your car stash or your home care bag. They are useful for texture contrast for clients with low vision. I have put them on buttons of the microwave, buttons on remotes, controls on hospital beds, or lift recliners if people need help knowing which button is for what. It's really great for texture contrast. I've also used it on the bottom of, if people like to put their foot up on a footstool when they're sitting in a chair, and when they do that, the footstool slides. A little bit of sticky Velcro on the bottoms of the legs will help keep it from sliding. But lots of uses for sticky Velcro that are helpful to have around. So this stays in the car stash. This container has some dried beans in it for a standardized test called the physical performance test. I have to scoop beans from one to another, so I keep that in there. Sometimes I can also use this for fine motor activities. This is a stash of kinesio tape to use for pain, tone management, joint support, anything that I might need kinesio tape for. In here I have a dynamometer to test grip strength if that's a goal to improve grip strength. A box of sanitizing wipes so that I can sterilize all my supplies and my equipment. By the looks of this, it is time to restock the Sani wipes inside the car stash. These are card holders. I need to find the cards that go with them. If I'm working on leisure activities or cognition or sometimes fine motor control, to be able to have the client hold their cards. If they're having trouble holding them with their hands, these can be helpful. This is a similar concept as a pipe tree, various pieces of, they're like mini PVC pipes that you can make designs in, great for in-hand manipulation, strength, putting things together, pulling them apart for cognition if you're looking on design copy or visual scanning. This is a pipe tree device that I was working with someone who used to be a construction worker. So I was trying to find an activity that would help with fine motor. We also made him a work board that had different nuts, bolts, and screws. But this is something that I can use for multiple clients. This bag never stops. Marketing material, wrap cards, extra stash of those if you own your own business, helpful to keep in your car stash. Extra wipes in case I run out of the individually wrapped ones. I have a random stash of silverware. These are cheap dollar store silverware. What I use these for is before I recommend an adaptive utensil for a client to go spend their money, I'll take the cheap ones, I'll come in so you can see it. I took the cheap spoon, angled it and bent it to see if that angled spoon would make it easier for the client to eat. So I can physically bend these with my own hands to test the concept. I can also use these cheap silverware to slide one of the tuba grips over to test the concept if built up utensils work before we spend money on them. So I do keep cheap silverware in there to be able to test those things out. I have some snap cubes in here. These are great for in-hand manipulation. Again, these are primarily used with peds, but my adults like doing design copy as well. These are helpful. When you put them together, pulling them apart is actually pretty difficult, so great for in-hand manipulation and fine motor skills. This is, again, another pediatric tool that I've used recently with my adults. It's a little building kit where you make little robots with little pieces that almost kind of look like Kinects Also, I've had a slew of fine motor difficulties on my caseload, so that's why there's a lot of that in here right now. This is some massage oil if I'm doing manual therapy. Some people prefer lotion, some people prefer oil, so I do keep both with me. Let's see, random balloon that escaped from the rest of my balloon stash. Very useful for lots of things. Stash of gloves are in here. Always make sure that I have a good stash of gloves with me. What else is in here? Extra set of clothes. When you're in home care, I may not use them often, but when I do need to, I'm exceptionally grateful that I have them. Extra clothes. If I'm helping someone with a shower and they get a little crazy with the handheld shower head, I get soaking wet, I have a change of clothes with me. Various reasons if someone is sick or nauseous when you're with them. Always helpful to have a spare set of clothes with you that you can change into if you need to. Other various random squishy balls are buried down in here. I found a second 1 pound weight I didn't know I had. Also at the bottom, I found more Theraputty, so I can add that to the tube that I had earlier. And yet another container of Theraputty. And let's see, the last things in here, I think, oh, I have a container with some pennies in it, helpful to use in the Theraputty. In hand manipulation skills, counting for cognition, money management, those sorts of things. And lastly, our resource book. So this notebook has all printed copies of the most frequently used home exercise programs that I have. So I keep a stash in the car. So if I need to run back out and get someone an exercise program for fine motor strength or joint protection or self range of motion, that I have those resources with me. And this last notebook, I don't think I need anymore, it's taken quite a beating, is my Medicare compliance guide for tips for note writing. I have a few printed standardized tests in here if I needed reference for one. I have those available, note writing guides, and then also paper forms of all my notes in case I'm somewhere where I don't have a strong enough internet signal to do documentation in my EMR, but I have paper copies of notes available. So now that I can't believe, I'm gonna move this so you can see the giant pile that's on my dining room table, that all that fit in here. I can't wait to set up my new sorter, get that organized, and then I will be set to go for the rest of my week. Okay, now about 20 minutes later, my brand new organizer that is in great shape is ready to go and loaded. Let me show you what I decided to keep. Okay, so here we are. In the front, I have these nice pockets where I can keep my marketing materials as I need to. I also have this side pocket where I decided to keep my home exercise programs and my standardized assessment forms. I have 4 compartments in this new sorter now. So this compartment has all of my more sterile supplies. So my gloves, wipes, medical supplies, kinesio tape, change of clothes. This is for more of my fine motor compartment. So I kept 1 ball, not 16. My Theraputty, manipulative cubes, I kept some of those small discs. But all the other fine motor stuff I took out because my caseload isn't really in need for that right now. This is my therapeutic exercise compartment. I've got my TheraBars, my ankle weights, my bean bags, and an assortment of weights in there. And then this is my random therapy supplies kit. So I've got my foam grips, my TheraBand, and then I also have my dynamometer in here. And I did keep the bag with all the various types of Velcro and things of that nature because that need does pop up frequently. So I will load this in the car and I'm set to go for the rest of my week. Thanks so much for watching the Home Care OT. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date with our content. And for more information, head on over to our blog at thresholdot.com.